Hey, welcome to the new episode of the Business Bosses podcast. I'm your host, Marek van Beek, and today we have a lot of interesting topics to cover. So sit back and relax and let's dive into it. Hey, and before we go, make sure that you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and give a like to this video. You help other entrepreneurs find this business podcast, so you help it out tremendously. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about how to buy a business in 2022 or 23 or 24, whenever it is. I'm going to share with you the process of what I did and how I bought my first and second business. In the end of 2019, I bought my first business, and the beginning of 2021, I bought my second business. Both businesses are in the same niche. They are in the social media niche, and we help people, we help businesses, we help influencers grow their social media, which is pretty cool. And actually, I think, buying a business has a lot of great benefits compared to starting your own business. And I made a whole other video about that, which I linked right there. So yeah, watch it out there or listen to the video right there. It's really interesting. But today I'm going to cover about how I did it. So the end of 2019, I was in a position where I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to take time in building my own business. I just wanted to have the kickstart, the head start that you have when you buy a business. I believe that it's so much more beneficial to buy it because you skip so many years of building, of trial and error, and you basically just buy a proven concept. So that's what I did. And most people will refer you to online broker websites like Flippa or MicroAcquire, or I think there are a bunch of other out there. But I bought my first business from such broker website. And my business is based in the Netherlands, so I used a specialized website for that, which is only in the Netherlands. And yeah, you can Google, just type in, buying online business or online business brokerage. There are tons of websites out there that offer online businesses for sale. The thing is that I heard sometimes people say that, when you actually buy a business, you don't want to use a broker because the broker, they want to sell the business as high as possible because they get a commission over the sale price, right? So if you have the network or if you know the people, then it's better to do it on a one-on-one deal to internally or with the person itself instead of with a broker, because you will get the chance of getting a lower price for that business is much higher than compared doing it with a broker. So that's an amazing tip I can give to you. I found the business that was for sale, I found it on a forum, and that was actually a similar way of doing that because the forum didn't benefit from our transaction, from me buying the business. They didn't benefit in any way. The only way that they benefited was when the guy posted this advertisement basically on that forum. That's how they benefited, but that was $1 or something. So they didn't get any commission. That was really cool because in that way I could buy the business for a much lower price. If I used a broker, I would probably have paid more for that business. And so the business that I bought for was, I think, a 23x. So 23 times the monthly profit, which is, I think it's on the lower end. Usually, a friend of mine, he asked me the other day, how do you determine that? I will go into that. How do you determine the multiple, right? I will go into that in a second. But so usually it's around 24 to, let's say 60. 24 is on the very low end and 60 is on the very high end when you have very high profitable, over $1 million. But that's the cool thing. I feel while I'm talking about it, there are a lot of things coming up right now that I want to cover. So let's cover the first thing is that, business can be bought as low as possible. You can find businesses that are 1K, 5K. What I tend to look at, especially businesses that have established period of profit, preferably longer than a year, because then it has been through all the seasons, you know how the business works, and you can see if there's any seasonality in the business. And yeah, I think that's very important. Second thing that's important is that, how do you determine the multiple, right? So a multiple is basically based on, what's the profit and how much is it automated and how stable is the revenue. If it's organic, the multiple will be higher compared to ads, for example. Multiples are like this. We call it in announce, we put our finger in our mouth and then we say it means nothing. It's made up of supply and demand. And to know for yourself it's a good multiple, ask yourself, is this worth it? Do I want to spend 50K, 100K, or even just let's say 10K? Do I want to spend 10K on a business that cost me 3 years to return back and need to work full time on the business? Well, probably not, right? You don't want to work full time on a business and get 10K back in 3 years. No, you want to get 10K back in 1 month, for example, right? And I think that's very important to determine, is this multiple good or not good? Sometimes I see multiples less than 12, less than 1 year, which is great. But then I look at the profit and you see the profit like this, go up and and down, up and down, up and down. It's like it's not stable. There's something onto the business that makes it not stable and that makes it more risky. And that's why the multiple is lower. So yeah, I think that's very important to look at. Like how stable is it? So when I looked at my business, the one that I had my eye on, the owner was involved from the beginning. So that's really a good sign because he's the only one who built the business. He knows the business in and out. So if I have any questions, I can go to him, right? I don't have to go to the previous owner. And so that was really a good sign. The other sign was that his business was still growing. So even though he only made like, I think it was 1,500 in the month prior to when he put it up for sale, it was growing. Like a year before, he did maybe like only 300 or 500 revenue in a month. So I could see the potential there. If that would continue in that line, like a 5x in 1 year, then I would get my money back way faster if the profit would still continue in that line, in that 5x return, right? And so that was another good sign. That was really good profit. Yeah, so I bought the business in 2019 and I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on it and I'm going to improve the business from there. Instead of doing 23x, so let's say instead of I got my money back in 23 months, I actually got the money back in 10 months, which was really cool. Then at that time, I found another business that was for sale. And it was actually coincidentally. I was talking with one of my suppliers and he asked me, it's like, hey, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve with the business? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I just want to be number one in the Netherlands. Basically number one in Google search results because my business traffic is coming from Google search. And I knew that if you're number one, then you're doing very good. And so I said to him, I just want to do that. I want to be number one. I want to be the biggest. I want to be the best. And that's what I want to do. And then he mentioned that, hey, actually there's another business for sale. I'm like, okay, interesting. So I asked him like, how much? And he named the number. He said like, okay, well, basically the number, it was a 5x. I kid you not. It was a 5x monthly profit. So instead of like 24, I got a 5x, which was great. It's like a 300%, 250% return in 1 year. And obviously I wanted to negotiate. That's how I am, right? I wanted to negotiate, but I knew that he already talked and I talked with the owner and I said, okay, hey, I'm interested in your business. Hey, how about the price and everything? He's like, okay, I don't want to negotiate. He said like, I don't want to negotiate. And I thought, okay, I'll just take it. You know, they're interested buyer, but he was not super interested. So I said to him, I'll do it. And we made it done. Within a couple of weeks, I bought the business. And the cool thing about it was that it was exact same business. It was just a competitor. So I bought out my competitor and I made it better. I improved it. I improved the systems, which removed me basically from the system and automated the whole thing. And revenue was increasing as well because of that. I think in 5 months, yeah, we got our money back. And that was a more stable business. So that business was already established. It was even longer in business than my first one. I knew that it will probably be very unlikely for the business to go down within even 12 months. So I knew that I had the confidence based on the history that this was a stable business and I could implement some changes to improve it. Probably not by a magnitude of 10, but at least a magnitude of 2 or 3. So I, improve on that. And then that was my baseline where I get the return. So I think if you're considering to buy a business, the first thing you want to know is how quickly do I get my money back? The money that I invested in, how quickly do I get it back? For my business currently, I got my money back within 10 months, I mentioned, and the other one in 5 months. And now the business is basically just free. It's running by itself and every money that comes in right now is just pure profit basically. So I don't have any debt or any investment that is unpaid, right? And I think that's the cool thing of a business. Instead of, putting it in the stock market and waiting for your 8% return every year, you get like 100% return or 200% return in a year. So that's how I did it. That's how I bought my business. I looked at, okay, what's out there? I tried to avoid any brokers. And even now, like I'm still looking for competitors to buy in my business. I'm not going to brokers. I look at brokers like, okay, what are people selling it for? Will it be sold, right? So I know, okay, what can I expect if I want to sell my business one day? As I mentioned, right? I was in the process of selling my business. But when I look at competitors to buy, I just email them directly. It's like, hey, you selling your business? 9 out of 10 might say no, but if one say yes, okay, hey, what you want to have for it? Give a number. If it's a good number, I'll take it. I get my money back within short time frame and everything is like cool. So that's what I look for. The other thing I would look for, okay, is it established? How long is the business already out there? And again, I made a whole list and I call it the 14 criteria that I use to buy my own business. And I'll put the link to the video in the description and otherwise you can watch it here. So I'll see you there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching and God bless.